everybody. Um, it's me, Jazz. I'm by my lonesome right now. My lovely other co-host might be a little occupied or going through some things right now, which we're totally okay with, and I can handle everything by myself. I am not sweating at all. But really excited about getting into the book today. Um, of course, if you've been paying attention or been tuning in, you know that we are actually covering the Never King book, which is by Nikki St Crowe, which is a spicy, twisted, dark romance retelling of Peter Pan and the Lost Boys, all that. Um, we pretty much got done halfway through the book. Right now, we're actually going to be going through chapters 15 to the end as best as I can. Let's see here. The only thing I did want to touch base on, I think that it's going to be very like important into the sense of we have chapter 13. There's a scene where Winnie, who is Winnie Darling, if you know the Darlings, that's her descendant, the main character, the main female character. She is discussing with Bashakash, one of the twins, who is the fairy princess, who are going through the whole thing about how to kill a fairy. And if you know the old idea and the old like theology about it, it's going to be like you have to say you don't believe in them. And she, being a non-believer, she's just like, I don't give a shit. I'm about to say that. He's like, please don't. I will die. Do not do it. So that's why it's important. It's going to be important also later on. We'll get into that. But, pretty much just want to go over some trigger warnings. Just make sure you know if there's anything you feel like it's going to be a little too heavy, please leave, come back, communicate with us. We can always take care of things and move forward from there. However, I have a few other things I wanted to discuss as well. I really enjoyed showing you guys and letting you listen to some of the voice clips because I love the audio more than like actually reading the book. Even though reading the book, of course, is like A1, but I really get into books when I hear the voices and if they connect. Because if they don't connect, it ruins the whole thing, and I don't even want the book. So I'm gonna show some fan art of these characters. I will say I don't like some of them. I do not. If you know me, I'm not feeling certain type of characters. So in my mind, when I'm listening to their voices, it sounds in my head and they're imagined in a totally different way. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. We're going to start with Peter Pan. So this is what he looks like. I hate it. The art is beautiful art. No shade to this person. I believe the artist is like Domain in the Den. I could be saying it wrong. I'm going to post all that one by one later on. However, I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. I personally see Peter as something a little different. So I would want something like a little more different for him. I want him more rugged. The character that, or the voice actor that plays him and narrates him, his voice is deeper, all that good stuff. So I feel like, I don't know, this doesn't connect. It doesn't connect for me. But if that's your vibe, go for it. We love that. Let's see who else. This is Winnie. Again, like no hate, no shade. These are beautiful pieces of art. I'm not an artist myself, so I can't really speak on like coloring or anything. This is nice. I do like it. I could see Winnie looking like that and being like that. She's supposed to be like just turned 18. She looks it. Again, in my mind, when I'm listening, I don't hear or I don't see her like that. But again, it is mesh top that she's wearing or what I'm wearing. I don't know, girl. But yeah, like she's cute. Not my bag, not my thing, but go off. Let's see here. Now we have the twins. So I'm a little more connected with this. I like how the twins are. These are Fae princes. They could take me. I got that. Definitely into that. Give me one moment, and I'm going to show you the second part to it. Give me 1 second. Hey, I'm just showing everybody the pictures of the Fae princes right now.
Yes.
All right. So we have this one. I enjoyed them. Out of all the pictures so far, we had the Peter Pan. We had Winnie. Again, not really feeling them too. The art is beautiful. I'm just not a fan. I don't visualize that when I listen to the audiobooks. And then I have, this is my favorite one of them. If you see my memes I make of this, yes. I don't know. Give me some tattoos. Fae Princess, yes. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Yum yum. But this one, these are going to be two. One of them is from a different book. But these are Vane and Winnie. I can get around that too, honestly, because he's supposed to be a big man. And I'm loving it. Yeah, like that one's nice. I like that one. Two different things. Like, yeah, I can. Was Dark One? I could do that. I could be Mrs. Dark One. I think it could work. But at this point, I just went over with everybody an important detail. I think we didn't go through chapter 13 when they were discussing how to kill a fairy. Because again, I reread the last few chapters this morning, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry about the technical difficulties and getting here late, but I'm here now and everything's good.
You're missed. I was like, oh my God, I'm fine. I can do this.
Yes. But, everyone is in good hands.
No, they're just here for like all the audio stuff. So I do have the chapter 15's pages that we were looking at. If you want to read some of that or read it. And I also have audio clips from chapters 16, 17, and 31.
Okay. Sounds
good. Yeah. Because I don't know. I came here for the voices. I don't know. But, so is there anything like in particular that you feel about the character arts or anything like when you envision? Because I was explaining how like, even though, and I believe we discussed this personally as well, when I listen to audiobooks, even though I know the characters are predominantly white or predominantly something different. If I don't match it with the voice, I just kick it out of my brain and I have to kind of build my own character. So that's why I was saying like with Pan and Winnie, like they just didn't click with me. Bash, Cash, and of course Vane, yeah, like better. Peter, I don't know, he just looks too young for me. Like, I don't think he's that brute that we all think he is. And I'm just like, no, I don't know.
Right. I see, like, especially Peter as, like, this rugged, maybe even, like, late 30s, early 40s kind of dude. You know, he's seen some stuff. That's what I think of Pam. And then for Winnie, usually when I'm reading a book, like, the protagonist, I don't usually get a clear picture in my head of what that person looks like. And it might be because like I might be inserting myself as the protag. I don't know. But it was hard for me to visualize her, other than the fact that they talk about how skinny she is all the time, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I was just like, no. I think that was one kind of bittersweet thing about the book is that they realize how she was like neglected and all that stuff like that, and they were like, wow, that's crazy, like why would your mom do that? And then there's like one scene in the book where pretty much when he's like, my mom went crazy because you guys don't talk shit about my mom. Like, yeah, my mom's crazy, I could talk shit, you can't talk shit.
You can't.
And I was like, bet though. And then he was like, yeah, wait, that checks. He was like, well, if you didn't, like, shut up, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't want to say I insert myself. I love inserting myself as a side character, actually. Like, I want to be the sassy friend that's like, punch him in the throat. Like, how dare you? I don't care he's immortal. I don't care. Whatever. Balls to the wall, girl. Do it. Punch him in the face and run away. Like, try, don't do it really because I can't help you. But, that's how I insert myself in books. Like, I don't see myself as the main character because I still like watching it. But I wish I had to change certain things because I'm like, I can't relate to being super skinny. I can't relate to letting men talk to me like that. First of all. Like, the only person that she, I think, the last one is like vain. She gets a little more spicy with, where he's just like, I don't give a shit about you. She's like, he'll break. I'll make him break. And but we know what happens.
We
But
know.
yeah. So did you want to do something next? Did you want to go through the reading now, or did you want to go through like talking something a little bit more?
Well, okay, so I also like re-listened to the last half of the book, and I realized we skipped ahead a little bit towards the end of our episode last time, but that's okay because we can talk about it. But yeah, so I guess to set the scene and before we get into like a reading, we're at the place where Bash has already hooked up with Winnie. He got caught by Pan. Pan didn't hook up with her, but he did assert his dominance in a way, physically. And Vane felt that Winnie won, basically. He knew that she had gotten under the boy's skin, and he seemed really irritated, but a little hot and bothered by it. He definitely was annoyed, I think, at the fact that everyone was reacting to her, including himself. So that's where we are now. There is a scene where I guess the twins are tasked to babysit Winnie from this point on. So Bash and Cass take her to bed, and not in a scandalous way. They're just chilling, you know. And she talks about how cozy it is to be like in the middle.
I love that part.
Yeah. So
didn't they make it magical for her? Like they made it into a meadow and like a starry night on top, and she was like, "This is nice." I was like, "Damn, I want some Fae Princess boyfriends."
Yeah, they use their Fae magic to kind of lull her to sleep and give her cozy space. But it was interesting to like listen to that part because we get a little bit more about Winnie's backstory and like the things that she's used to. Like she's not the girl that's been invited to sleepover parties and things like that. So this is the first time that she's stayed over someone's house. I think she mentioned that. And so, yeah, she's there. They're very attentive and sweet about it. And she falls asleep, you know, under this magical scene that they kind of glamour for her. So that happened. The next morning, of course, they're making her breakfast because they love to watch her eat breakfast for some reason. And so she gets in, and Vane comes in, and he sees them all kikiing and happy, and he's just like, yeah, I don't like this anyway. So he gets all sassy about it. And instead of like letting it pass, Winnie kind of like gets under his skin too. So I don't know if I should read now because I think I caught everybody up.
Let me get that part actually. So I have all three of them. So we're going to start from the beginning. Can you read that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm probably going to skip some words.
Yeah.
Just so y'all know.
Get the meat potatoes. That's what we want.
Oh, goodness. Okay, I don't think it's too spicy, so I can probably get through reading this without giggling too much. Okay, so Vane's there. Also, he has one violet eye, one black eye. The black eye kind of represents his shadow self. Well, his shadow, which is a death shadow, by the way. And we find out in these shadows, in these chapters, what each shadow represents. But anyway, Vane has a death shadow, and so he can make people's fears kind of come to life and induce pain on people. It's really bad. But anyway, he comes in, he's really irritated, and his violet eye turns black. Okay, this is from the perspective of Winnie. I stumble back, he advances on me. Vane, Bash says. Vane grabs me by the back of the neck and drives me into the island, bending me over the counter, forcing my face to the cool stone. I huff out a breath as he presses against my ass and leans over me, his voice in my ear. Do you want to know what I do to pretty little girls like you?
Yeah.
His
Sounds
voice is rough and rumbling, the kind of voice you only hear in horror movies, coming out of the throats of monsters. The terror slithers up my back, across my shoulders. I can't stop the whimper coming out of my throat. Vane, Bash says again. Vane is hard at my ass, digging into me, and my heart leaps, tangling with the pulsing terror. I'm scared out of my mind and turned on more than I should be, and I don't know what that says about me. Vane's grip on my neck turns punishing. You wouldn't last 10 minutes with me, he says. Okay, she gets it, Bash says.
okay.
I'm like blushing reading this. Oh my God.
You want me to do this part?
Yes, please.
I got you. All right, give me 1 second. Okay. This is Vane still talking, and she's like, "Does she? Do you, darling?" He sinks in my meow, and instinctively I arch my back, pushing my ass into him. His hand snakes around to my front and covers my mound. We, everybody, please know these words. We're not going to repeat them after. My knees buckle. The vein grips is sure, and he is not letting me go down. My brain is saying I need to get out of this, find safety, but my body is saying more, more, more. I haven't felt this way in a long time, like I am firmly in my body and enjoying every second of it. I have had so much schmeck. Can I say that sex? Fuck it. We'll figure it out. I had so much sex I can't count the times that I've never been in the hands of someone who knows what they're doing. Vane's fingers rub my kitty cat, and and I think he might be pushing me more with pleasure than with pain. I pant out against the counter. He shifts his grip on me, and my panties slide over with the heat, and the sensation makes me sag against the counter. More, more. Then suddenly he's gone, and this time I hit the floor. Vader's a fucking tease. He pisses me off so hard.
He is. Okay, I'll read this part because you got through the hard part that I was gonna giggle and blush through. Also, that was very like sultry. I love it.
Thank you.
Darling, Bash says as he darts across the counter to crouch beside me. I'm okay. He scoots me up effortlessly and keeps an arm around my waist. I'm still burning with heat, trembling with desire. My panties are soaked now. I look up at Vane. His violet eye has returned to the bright shade of purple. This wasn't about the terror this time. It was about the art of the tease, showing me what he could do with so little effort. I suck in a deep breath and fix my skirt. Bash is warm and solid at my side. Vane regards me with a cool indifference, and I know he wants me to cry or beg. So I do the opposite. Are you allergic to shirts? Bash snorts and buries a laugh. Vane simmers. He's not going to get to me. He's already underestimated me. He gives me one more snarling scowl and then turns and walks away. I can't believe you just did that, Bash says. End scene.
Yeah, insane. I think this is such a good part to read as well because this whole thing, if we're knowing from the beginning of the book how Winnie is to now at this point, she's still in survival mode. She believes the best way to gain control and power of the whole thing around her and the situation is to seduce the guys. And the two men are being the hardest. Well, three technically because the other brother is like hasn't done anything yet, but he wants to. And but like Pan is like, nah, we don't fuck you. Like you'll do me, I'll do things what I want to do. And Vane is strictly like, nah, no, I don't want you, girl. It's fine. You can't handle me. But I think it's just like interesting, like if she doesn't get her way in that situation, she goes straight to humor, which is normal, I feel, for especially people who deal with trauma. Make it funny. Because none of them are ever wearing shirts. Like, what are
No.
you doing? But
Yeah,
also,
they're always walking around with those shirts.
yeah, never. Like, if it's cold, like, does it snow there? I don't think we even have a snow scene yet. I don't think so. Maybe a different
I don't
island.
think so.
Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah, I think there is a different island. One of the other books, I think it says something about like a. It's. I think it hints at like a Christmas island, and that, my first thought was, what is this fucking Halloween Town? Not Halloween Town. Nightmare Before Christmas. But anywho, so for chapter 15 is pretty much what we're discussing right now. A few other things happen. We have the bonfire that's coming up. Pan, of course, is in his tomb, and the twins are like, hey, and with Cherry is like, hey, we're gonna go to this bonfire, we're gonna fuck it up in a good way. If you don't get in trouble, you can come with us. So he's like, you know, hey Gina. So everybody's like, okay, cool, she's cool, we're not gonna get in trouble. But she also tries Fey wine for the first time.
Mhm. And something I want to mention for those
Mm-hmm.
who are following along with our recap, um, when we say that Peter is in his tomb, so because Peter lost his shadow, which we know from these chapters, it is a life shadow. Now, Vane has a death shadow, and Pan has a life shadow. And because he's not attached to his shadow, a lot of the island is starting to become decrepit. Things are dying or acting more wild than they're supposed to. Like nothing is really set in, nothing's going normal,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Everything's kind of haywire in the island. And so another like side effect of that is that he can't really come out during the day. He's almost like a vampire. Like so he
Mm-hmm.
stays in what they call his tomb and he sleeps off the day. And when nightfall comes out, then he's able to do what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, everyone's really active in the treehouse that they live in Neverland, and all the Lost Boys are there. They just have different floors, um, and of course, like Vane, Bash, and Cass are like the inner
Mm-hmm.
court, basically
I
for it.
think it's called the loft. I think they stay in the loft part or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're in one of the
Yes. That's
higher
location.
points
Mm-hmm.
because I remember her saying that like from the window she could see like the ocean and
Mm-hmm.
everything outside. So yeah,
That
that's
sounds
what
like
we
a
mean.
nice. That sounds like a nice ass place, though. I want
It
to go to that tree house.
does.
I'll stay
It sounds
there.
really nice.
But
They also mentioned, oh, this is crazy because like Bash and Cass were talking about the island and the house, and they were saying that they had stolen some men, some like army men, infantrymen or something, to build the house for them.
oh,
And yeah, they mentioned that they had stolen away some men that had since died, you know, because
okay.
they're in Neverland and they aren't as tied to the magic. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
That,
I gotta go back in that part. I didn't even
yeah.
realize. You know what? Like, I'm there for the spicy. So like, if they're just like, do, 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 I don't got time. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
amount of times where they're just talk, like the brownie, I fucking hate that person. Every time they talk, they remind me of the Seven Dwarves, just all grumpy. And I'm like, shut up. I don't care. You're
Yeah.
irrelevant. 2 seconds. You had like 2 chapters and you didn't do anything. But
No,
yeah,
he didn't do anything. I guess Brownie's only purpose is to set up the fact that there's a fake court,
yeah.
and they still have some kind of power on the island. But yeah, so going back to Jazz, um, so we left off where they're getting ready to go to the bonfire. Is that where we're at?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're about to go to the bonfire. I do have a clip for that in a moment. But pretty much in the nutshell, she's drunk. She drank the fairy wine. Cherry is like, "Ooh, girl, like we never met a mortal like you who can like throw it back." She's like, "This tastes delicious." She did kind of describe the flavors, and to me, it was like I want to say sambuca or something like that. So it's kind of like a lot of citrus. herbs and stuff in it, and like she was just throwing it back. And of course, she got very winning, and she's having fun. She finds some random redheaded lost boy. That's his name, redhead lost boy. We don't know who he is,
Yeah.
and she about to go ham on him. I don't know if she's actually fucking him or she's just like playing with him like she usually does with a few other people.
From what I gathered, she's just playing with him.
Yeah.
Like,
and
a little dry humping, a little teasing.
But can we talk about the fucking the snitch ass fucking Vane? He goes straight to Pan. It's like, let me tell you what they're doing. They fucking down there.
Which is crazy because he didn't even wait till sundown. Like the sun was still setting, and he was like,
he was waiting. He's like, Pan, let me tell you what the boys did. Like, bitch, shut up. Let them have fun. And that was the thing too, which I also like that they played with. So like he goes to Pan in the tomb. He's like, bro, I'm not even up yet. He's like, I don't give a shit. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that they fucking crazy down there, which they're not. He's exaggerating. He's like, shit, we can't trust her. So they were like, he could be fucking, she could be fucking. And he's like, in a monologue, he's like, do I care though? Like, why should I? But he's pissed. He's like, she should be fucking other people. Like, bitch, you didn't even want to fuck her. And he even goes to the thing. He was like, the rule was they don't touch the darlings, the main four, not everybody else. So if they want to do that, they can do it. But slowly, not even slowly, but surely, the moment the sun set, he was out. Mm-hmm. He finds them, kikiing, having fun, drinking some ale and some Fey wine. And she's grinding on redhead lost boy number 18. I don't know. And he goes and he's like, I think he says like this thing where it's kind of like, what is that? Like Freddy Krueger type thing. Like 1, 2, Freddy's coming. He does some shit like that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm about to wreck your shit. He goes up. Everybody scatters. Yeah. Everybody scatters. He sees Winnie. Winnie doesn't give a shit. She's like, I'm grinding away. The Lost Boy's freaking out. He's like, Pan, I'm so sorry. I didn't know this was your bitch. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was her. And Pan starts punching his chest. He rips her off of him, starts punching in his chest, grabs his heart, rips it out, and just like squishes it. And then like he's just covered in blood. And Winnie's first fucking reaction is like, I need to leave, but this is also hot. And I'm like, same, but bitch, what was the reason? That poor boy did not do anything. He was just living his life.
Yeah, it's crazy because like even I think it was one of the twins was like, I know that we're not supposed to touch her. Like I feel like everybody was vibing and everybody's cool except for Vane. So I'm like, is he jealous right now that it's not him?
I think that gets more evident, especially like later on. In like one of the chapters, he's the only one to be like, hey, yo, maybe not. How about that? And they're like, bitch, we have shit to do. He's like, but maybe not. He doesn't even say anything. He picks her up and leaves. But anyway, that's a little later. This is the clip I have from that heart scene. This is after.
When I turn back to the darling, her heart in my hand, her eyes are full of tears. Good. She needs to know. There are no white knights here. Just monsters. And I. When I turn back to the darling.
Yeah, pretty much he says, she's crying. She looks distraught. I'm into that. She needs to know, no, there's no good guys here. We're only monsters. And I'm the worst one. And I'm like, say less. I can change him.
Ridiculous.
I can change him. I can change him. I can change him. He's like, you know what? I don't want to change him. I don't. I want to flirt with another person for fuckery. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't have flirted back. That's so toxic. I don't care. I don't care.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Let's see. So here's chapter 17. I had like an issue with it. That is pretty much with I don't like when she refers to herself as Winnie Whore. Because I think it's that it's not, as somebody who likes degradation, like I'm down for it. However, she does it in such a negative way that she plays into a thing that she's not even about. She just likes sex. Doesn't make her a whore, but she's just like, well, yeah, that's what everybody calls me. That's who I am. My bitch, who said that? Who says that about you?
Yeah.
Like, in your big day and age, no, thank you. But she was doing that. So pretty much in chapter 17, she Pan is pissed. She's like, bitch, let me fuck. You're mad. Fuck me or not. And he's like, no, I'm not doing shit. Be a good girl. She's like, no, fuck you. Fuck this house. You kidnap me. I do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does what he does. So at this point, Pan is done. He is rock hard. I think he threw her on a couch, turned her around, just started going ham on her. And she says, what did she say? She says something along the lines of, what is it? Yeah, okay, this is the part I like. He's like, he's fucking her. He can tell that she wants to come. And he's like, oh, you want to come, don't you? And she's like, yeah. He's like, beg for it. She's like, please. He's like, no, beg for it better. And he's like, if you're going to act like a slut, you're going to be a slut. I was like, oh, yes. So he gets to the point. This is the part Winnie says, and she says, we ride through the orgasm together. He fills me up. And then he not tosses her, but he like pulls out. Next thing you know, of course you got Cass and Bash ready to go. Bash is not Bash. Cass is fucking saucy ass. His cock in hand already. He's like, I could do this, right? It's good now. We could do this because you broke the rule too now, and I already did it. So he enters her, and through the back, and he's fucking her. He tags in his brother. As like, brother, get her from the front, get her from the mouth, and she's loving it.
Well, because remember, Cass had got all flustered and was trying to be the good boy and like, I'm not touching her. And oh yeah, I don't think we mentioned this, but after Bash, this is when Bash hooked up and got caught with her. Cass found out, was like, you didn't, and he was like, yeah, I did. And so Cass went out back to the crazy partying that they do at the house, and he just looks at a girl, was like, get over here, and basically face fucks her on the balcony in front of everybody. And Winnie's just watching, and she was like, oh wow. Hi Michael, I'm sorry, we're talking about very naughty books. It's a retelling of
something amazing.
Adults, of course, not babies, but yeah, it's a very grown podcast where we talk about some spicy books. So if you like that, cool. If not, bye. But thank you for stopping in.
No, definitely. We love adult things here because it's respectful. We are adults. We get to talk about spicy things, and it's a great thing. No shame here. If you have any questions about anything we talk about, please let us know.
Of course.
Also, just to kind of segue real quick, though, because I actually got a few questions of this. Everybody reads this differently. However, I do audiobooks, but this book is available on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, Barnes & Noble. I use Everand. And we also have like a code I'm about to post to everybody. You get 60 days free. However, you can get it free off the library apps. Okay, so that's Libby, that's Hoopla, whatever other apps I got out there. I use Libby. So look that up. The only issue with the library ones, you got to wait. And I don't like waiting. But it's great. We love it. So, sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Oh, yeah. So, we have all the links and everything.
Oh, that was me, yeah.
Awesome. So, yes, definitely go get your library card, and you're going to need it because we have a lot of great books up ahead after this week as well. You're ready for the Sweet and Spice book publishing? We would love that. What's been roasted?
That is literally what we were just talking about. So at this scene, the two twin brothers, one was hitting Winnie from the back, the other one was getting her through the mouth together at the same time. She loved it. She enjoyed herself. It was tens across the board. She enjoyed it.
Yes. And so, yeah, she had already seen it. She was fascinated. Like, she was already fantasizing about it. And so, she's in bliss. But yeah, so 3 of the 4 are all in, basically. And we have one hater in the mix.
It's fucking hater. Wait, I actually think, I think I have that clip here of that.
My ass presses against the edge of the table, digging into my flesh. There is no hint of emotion on Vane's cruelly gorgeous face, and it's impossible to read his thoughts in those mismatched eyes. Open up, darling, he orders. I don't know where this is going, but no one is stepping in and curiosity gets the better of me. I part my lips. Vane gets in close and spits in my mouth. That's all you'll get from me. I spit it out, dragging my hand over my mouth. You asshole. I pummel him with a fist, but hitting him is like hitting a mountain. Futile, stupid. It's Pan that stops me. Vane, he says in a low, rumbling warning. Don't be a dick. Why? He asks. When I'm so good at it. My ass presses against.
So, another side note has nothing to do with the book, just the voice narrators. I love and hate when you have one character, let's say like Winnie, she's saying her point of view, but she also does the male voices. Sometimes it's great and perfect. Like, she does great. I love Stella Hunter. She's amazing. But like, it makes me laugh when I believe Shane Easton does Peter Pan, when he does Winnie's voice. And it always makes me giggle. He's like, I don't understand. I was like, bitch, say it in a manly voice or don't say it. I was like, we know it's Winnie. And it's not anything wrong with it. Like, it's just, he's so adorable. So, like, it knocks me out of him being this ferocious man where he's just like, I don't give a shit. I wreck things. I don't give a fuck. I'm a monster. He's like, but I'm so scared. Shut up. You ruined it for me. Not really. He did not. It's beautiful. Beautifully
done too, because like, yeah, he makes Winnie sound so like, he actually makes her sound sweeter and more innocent than Winnie's voice actress does. So it cracks me up because I'm like, he's trying his best. All right, he's doing his best.
He's great.
Yeah,
but it throws me for a loop. But I'll be like, especially because I have the last clip later. That's like for chapter 31, I think. And he's just like. And Winnie says, I don't know. I was like, shut up. Shut up. You know exactly what she wants. Shut up. But, yeah, so Vane, of course, if you listen to the clip, everybody pretty much had their way with her, except for Vane. And she was waiting. He was like, open your mouth. She's like, let's go. And he's just like, that's all. He spits in her mouth. It's like, that's what you get.
He gave it a hot tool.
Yeah, exactly. I should have got that. It was funny. And he was like, and she was like, you son of a bitch. And everybody was like, wow, that's wild. And then they even said like, whoa, like you couldn't join, bro. Like you had to be the one. He's a hater. He's a hater. But we love him.
He's the ultimate hater.
But we love him.
Emo boy hater.
I'm trying to think. So that's pretty much it. So 18.
Thank you.
So I have like notes about everything. 18. I thought was interesting because we get a lot of different. We get more detail about Cash and Basher background, how they deal with magic, how they actually missed their home, and why they were banished. Like they go into a little bit of detail about it. But I also love the fact like. Cass is supposed to be the good guy. He's supposed to be the sweet teddy bear man. And he says a lot of things, especially like at the breakfast scene, that one, he says this line where he's like, she just took like a fresh shower or something. And he's like, I just want to make her dirty again. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then in this scene I'm talking about now on 18, he and Cash and Bash are just in the room chilling. They're playing with knots. They like playing with knots. They like ropes. And Cass is like,
knots too.
he was like, I want to tie her up so bad. Like, I need to do this to her. And I was like, do it. Just do it. Just do it. She'll want to do that. But then again, Pan threw his foot down and was like, we don't touch her no more. I'm like,
make up your mind.
Shut up, Pan. Make up your mind. You can't. I'm sorry. You cannot. So that was pretty interesting. And then, of course, they all pass out because they're all cuddling together. That was the throuple I loved. Like, she's sandwiched between both men, and she's just like, just cuddling. In chapter 19, we found out that Pan can't fly at this moment because of not having the shadow. The port. So they talk about the city that's next to them, which is called Darlington Port, which I thought is like such a bittersweet thing I can imagine because the darlings.
Yeah.
But Vane confronts Pan about fucking Winnie. And he's like, shut up. Just let me, I fucked up. It's fine. We all did it. He's like, but I did. And he's like, shut the fuck up. Let me live my life. And then again, we go into the Dark Shadows. They have Peter Pan has had the life shadow, which usually correlates with being the king of the island or Neverland, where Vane has the dark shadow, which would give him the title Dark One, which again, those two individuals alone, they don't fuck with. So that means they pretty much run shit. You do not go. And we found out more things about the shadows later on, which are really interesting. But since everybody just got fucked or didn't or frustrated, now they're going to go kill some pirates. Not really relevant, honestly.
Yeah.
They're
but I wanted to mention the lore behind Darlington and the name.
Mm-hmm.
So there is mention in Brownie's chapters, because I know you hate them.
I fast forward, I ain't gonna lie.
But I like them because they do, like, it's like a lore dump. Like, it's only there so that you know about Neverland and what's going on, like the important players of why it is what it is. So Darlington, there's some beef between the Fae Court and Pam.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the twins. So in these chapters, they mention the Great Demise, the thing that got Peter on the bad side of the Fae Court, and the thing that got Bash and Cass on the bad side of the Fae Court. The queen of the Fae Court is actually Bash and Cass's sister. And it wasn't always that way. Their mom, I think, was the queen before. Well, like, yeah, her mom used to be the ruler, right?
Who,
no, it was their dad. But okay, so anyway, Bash and Cash are banished because they killed their dad. Mm-hmm. They murdered him. And they don't regret it at all.
They don't.
Like, they regret not being able to be around their sister, and disappointing her.
I thought that was sweet.
I wouldn't say regret. They're sad that they disappointed their sister and they put her through some trauma. They do not regret killing their dad at all. And from what they described, they just gutted him and was like, yep, we did it. And there was no remorse, no nothing. It had to be done in their eyes. And the one rule that they have in the Fae Court is that we don't kill other Fae like that. We don't do that. We'll punish you. We'll do what we have to do, but we don't kill each other. And so that's why they're banished. Well, Pan has beef with the Fae Court because of Tink. Well, Tinkerbell, even in past lore and outside of this book, well, she's in love with Pam. And so she fell deeply in love with Pan in the way that Fae do, where it's completely obsessive. And Pan was in love with his first darling. Mm-hmm. And because Tinkerbell is Tinkerbell, she let him know that he's never going to get to love her, ever. And she was jealous, and so she made it so that she murdered the darling, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it broke Pan's heart because he was very loyal and in love, like pure love with that darling.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget, but somehow that darling knew that Tink had taken the shadow, and the darling hid the shadow, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah, it was a coup.
That's right.
So, just to put a little bit, um, in a nutshell, just like she said, Tink was obsessive in love with Pan, worked with the darling. We don't know why they did this, but like Tink had her own motives, but we don't know why the darling did it. So the darling agreed to take the shadow from Pan and hide it. Then Tink killed her. And in a fit of rage, Pan killed Tink.
Yes. And there's
And
one
he
way
just
to
go ahead.
kill, Faye.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna say it because I'm
I know. Oh,
I will
if
refuse to
you
say
know,
it,
you
but
know. If you know, you know.
yeah.
If
There's
you
a
watch Hook,
sentence
you
that
know
you
because they did it in
say,
that one scene.
yeah, there's a sentence as you say in the lore, and you don't believe in la la la. And if you say that, the fairy will drop dead. And like that's how Teak died. Oh, my heart was so sad. Like I know she probably deserved it, but at the same time,
I know.
yeah. And like Pan, as much as he's angry at Teak, like he has a lot of genuine like hurt around the whole situation. Like
Yeah.
there's such a deep betrayal that he just can't let it go. It's so terrible. But the town is called Darlington, and I'm guessing that's a hint towards the love that he actually had for that darling. So
I think so too.
yeah.
I think that's something because from the lore alone too. So Peter Pan's supposed to be childlike, innocent, always like that, and for him to make that grown up type situation, like I'm in love, I'm committed, because he was like that's my girl, and we find that out later in books too. Like, and I think that's something else. Which, if you guys really interested in knowing the full story, definitely read the books because it gets
This
juicy,
is the tip of the
juicy.
iceberg, y'all.
Just a tip, like just put it this way: darlings be darlining, they be doing things, and these men don't know how to act. These men are like, what do you mean? What do you mean you love me, right? And the other one's like, but I love her too. And she's like, meh. I might get another one. Bye. Like, bitch, why? But go off though. We're not shaming. Go off. But it's such like so that whole situation was really interesting to see. Especially because you still see like he lost his friend and the love of his life. Because that was somebody who was loyal to him this whole time, whatever. And it's crazy, like, to have that. Even now, like I said, to kind of push through nothing. I don't know. Do you think anything really kind of connects with anything like further? I think like the only other big story is when Tilly comes. And Tilly is the twins and Tink's relation. That is the sister / daughter of Tink. She comes, and her pretty much mission is to help Peter get to take care of that. To find the location through the ancestors. Found out that not only did all these people get killed, but Darlings had the original Darling had a little sister that witnessed everything. So that's where Winnie and her lineage comes from. So she was saying like that's why we do this. Found out that she's in pain, but she makes this conscious effort to make do. She's like, I want to help them. I know the island's dying. I want to help them. And Vane, everybody can't watch. You're just like, we don't want to see our girl get hurt. Mind you, none of them's claimed her. Nobody says they loved her. Nobody said anything, but they're just
And,
like
Tilly's there to look into the memory, so she has the
exactly.
ability to see the memory and report everything that she's seen, but it's very painful for the darlings.
Exactly. But we find out later on, after she's trying her best to make do and like go through the pain, because it's like splitting her skull. Like she's in pain. And everybody wants to stop, but they don't say anything. Vane just like grips her up, is like, no, not my baby. Which everybody was surprised. They were like, out of everybody, he did it. He's like, not my baby girl. We're going over here. And he says something really kind of sweet to her too, where she's like, no, I can do it. Let me do it. Let me help. And he's like, the mighty oak thinks it's strong, even though a man has an axe or something like that. And she's like, oh, you're trying to say you got an axe? Like she has to put a joke on it. Like, shut up. He's trying to be nice to you and express himself. And he's like, look, this is what it is. And I'm tired of people getting broken. And that was his thing. He's like, I'm tired of people getting broken. So she gets a little bit of rest from that. And we're kind of like skimming through everything. These are like the importance on my end. But like, so this happens. She has a vision. She knows. She sees the whole thing play out between Tink and her ancestor. Found out that, if you remember from the beginning of the book, she mentions a trunk. The trunk, it's in the trunk that they've been carting around all these years. They all go into the situation. They go straight over to her mom's house. And also, to backpedal just for 1 second too, another good thing I like, and I want to bring up that Peter, this how shows you like how kind-hearted he is. When Mary, who is Winnie's mom, she's like has mental issues. He thought it would help her, so he brought her to the Blue Lagoon or the Mermaid Lagoon because it has healing properties. He thought it was going to help her. It didn't. But the fact that he tried, and again, this is going back to now we're meeting up with her again. She's still mad. She's still crazy a little bit. She's being pretty much like held at knife point by the brownies. And they're just like, we don't care. We knew where it was the whole time. This was all a fucking ruse. Like we were just destroying them because we didn't want nobody to know where it was at because we don't want you to be king. And they were like, well, who the fuck is going to take it? Because if it's not me, who? They're like, the princess could. And the prince is like, don't put us into this shit.
Yeah, they're like,
don't put us into this shit. And they all off battle. They kill the brownies. And it's all a situation. Huh?
With their shirts off.
With their shirts off, of course. Because it wouldn't be them if it wasn't. So they do the whole thing where they win, but now they're coming to the realization that she has an option to stay home now. They have everything. She is begging him to take her. He's like, no. Like, my mom is good. I don't know why she said that, but go off. She's like, no. She's fine. I'm going to go with y'all. He's like, no, I'm not fucking taking you because you don't fucking listen. Mm-hmm. And she's like, but I could listen. And he's like, no, stop it. Make the right choice. But mind you, he's saying those words, but in his inner monologue, he's literally saying, I want her to come with me. Like, I ate. Like, they're all like, oh my God, my heart is going to bust if she doesn't come with us because they want her to be there. But also, like, it's also kind of nasty where he, like, I actually have this. I'm about to play this right now. It's going to be one of our...
My first instinct is to leave her here. Whatever is waiting for me in Neverland, it won't be good. You'll be safer here. Her gaze hardens. Safer is not what I want. I have a sudden flash of bending her over the table. Pretty darling girl wants dark, vile things done to her. I would be lying if I said I didn't want that too. I want her wrapped around my... The moment I met her, I knew she was different. I don't know what it is about her, but it reminds me of something old and forgotten. I have rules, I tell her. Rules that are meant to be followed. She smiles sweetly up at me, and I know already that she'll be trouble if I bring her back. I can follow rules. Yes, but will you? My first instinct is to leave her here. Whatever is waiting for me in Neverland, it won't be good.
So, pretty much this is like the second to last chapter. I think there's like a few more after, but pretty much this book ends with she's returning. He's like, you're going to fucking listen to us. We own you pretty much. And she's like, I always wanted a lot of boyfriends. I love that. I love that for us. They're all excited. I am not sure if they end the book, because I actually didn't put any notes down for the last chapter. Do you remember the last chapter?
Yes, actually.
Okay, please talk.
So they get to this part. They killed the brownies. They had the conversation about whether or not Winnie's going to go back home. And Winnie's like, but I remember, I know where your shadow is. So she runs to the chest, knocks on it in the secret knock thingy, and ends up getting a container that has his shadow in it. And she can feel like the magic like ebbing off of this container that has it in there. So while she's talking with him, like, it's so crazy that like Pan says all of this, that excerpt, because when he has his shadow, he's not even aware, because he's so concerned about her choice to leave her home to come to Neverland. Like, that's his top thing that he's thinking about right now, which is insane, because the whole book he's like, I want my shadow, I'll do anything to get my shadow, I want it. But in this moment, he isn't, like, that's a secondary thing to him for some reason. So Winnie eventually convinces him that it's her choice, and she's going to try to come hell or high water. And so he agrees that she can come home with him. And then she says, but before that, like, here's your shadow. And he like snaps back into it, and he's like Peter again. He's like this ruthless being. He's like, oh yeah, I got my shadow. That shit's about to go down. So he's really excited. The twins, he tells them, all right, we're getting ready to leave. Make sure you bury all these brownies. And so like the twins are really pissed off that they have to like shovel brownies into Winnie's mom's, Mary's backyard and bury them. And like Winnie's like, so how's this gonna work? Like, isn't anyone gonna be suspicious that there are a bunch of brownies buried in my mom's backyard? And they're like, oh, they'll turn to dust in a couple of days, it's fine. And so Winnie asked her mom, because she was like, I was gonna bring my mom either way, like without y'all's permission or not. She asked her mom, do you want to come? And her mom was like, absolutely not, I'm staying where I'm at. And so her mom stays, and they spirit themselves away back to Neverland. And that's where the book ends. Yes.
We love that.
I wish we could play the first part of the second book.
Honestly, I should have thought about that.
Yeah.
But I think it would entice me too much just to finish it.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of like give everybody that choice, because I know we're like, and that actually goes into this. If you guys haven't seen the post right now, we are discussing which book we're going to be putting out for July the 19th. It is between two books. Mine's I'm voting for is called Flames of Chaos, which is a dark romance, monster fucker, sassy witch bitch. If you like all those, wolf fucking and all that shit, do that. That's what I would say. However, heavily, in my opinion, trauma. That's one of the reasons why I was like, maybe we shouldn't, because this book had a little bit more trauma than I would like to discuss, versus this book, which I personally feel all she deals with is trauma, then love and sex, and then trauma. And like, oh my God, I love her. And then trauma, like, shut up, stop. But yeah, sexy men though. Sexy, yes, characters. But and And of course, if you want to talk about your book.
Yeah, the one that I was thinking about and that Jazz wanted to consider is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. And it's wholesome, so sweet and wholesome, but there is spice, So if you feel like you need a palate cleanser before we go into something more spicy, this would be a perfect choice. It's short and sweet. There are other books. This is a 3-book trilogy, and it's in the perspective of a few other characters, but everyone's still there. So you'll meet this couple that the story's about, and you'll see them as secondary characters in the next 2 books as they focus on other friends. But if you like wholesome, cozy, with a little bit of action and a little bit of romance, you should go for this. The main protagonist is a Black character. She's got
which we love.
Yeah, and she's really sweet. She has a country accent, which is unprecedented. You don't really get to hear that in
I did love that
fantasy. So if you want to hear something different, I highly recommend it. And then her love interest is a dragon. So a dragon shapeshifter. He's really hot, in my opinion. And I hope that you might consider it. So yeah, that's the sweet option that you have.
Perfect. I did post that information. You guys can go to our pages and you can kind of vote that way. We'll try to tally up. I think right now, though, I think everybody's leaning toward the sweet, which honestly I'm happy for, because I don't think I could relive reading my book one more time, even though I read it 3, and I'm just I'll just bitch about it another time. However, and also, if you love this book or more interested, and the story gets so good for the Never King or the Vicious Lost Boy series, which is what we're talking about. The next one, I believe, is the Dark One, which is going to go into Vane a little bit more. And a lot of things happen. It
is so good. You really, if you've read the first book and you've rocked,
there's a new character. There's a new character. His name's Croc, and I love him. And I would never change him. I would never change him.
And Scary enough to hear a little bit about Hook too. So
yes. And Hook and Shmi, my bitch Shmi. Shmi. Oh my God. Okay, we're talking too much. Well, read the books. Read the books. Anyway, so just to kind of round everything up, please, guys, connect with us. Of course, we're on all these fancy social medias. Everything Nymphs Allure. Just find it. Google it somewhere. We're there. That's us. That's it. And of course, make sure that you are following our lovely Miss Jasmine and all those fancy social medias. Again, if you look up any of our names, I feel like everything comes up. I think we're that cool these days, especially you're everywhere, girl. Got babies. Of course, me, I am Miss Jazelle pretty much on everything, including Twitch, where I stream games and everything like that. My other podcast, Actually Speaking, which is going to be debuting soon. And of course, my 18 plus spicy stuff is going to be talked on Obey Miss J only. Please stop asking me on my regular ass thing. You got to start paying me, I swear. Anyway, also, show some love to our peoples. We have the gang here, of course, everyone at HNIC, Head Nerds in Charge, all network on all platforms, along with us being the flagship show for Unicorn Universe Network. We love it. We love being a part of this big family. We love everybody, and continue just not only support us, support the artists, support the free libraries. Get the books free, guys. Don't do what I do. I pay for everything. Why did I not use my own library card? I don't know. Support our peoples and everybody.
Paying for the books also supports the authors. So either way,
no, definitely. No, don't listen to me. You know what? Actually, buy 2, donate 1. How about that? Buy 2, donate 1. Lots of love, everybody.